My name is Anirban. I have been working in Informatica and data warehousing for around past 11 years. And currently I'm working as Informatica Architect for one of our project where I'm responsible for designing the ETL solution as well as leading the execution of the team. So now before we start, we'll be discussing about Informatica PowerCenter and the ETL technology and how can we use Informatica PowerCenter to perform the ETL activities, as well as we'll see some of that administration activities as well in the course. So our first module is about the Informatica PowerCenter 9.x, the version 9, and overview. It's a live online class. The class recording will be available in LMS for a lifetime. It's having 24/7 post-class support. We'll have module-wise quiz, and then we have project work, and we'll have verifiable certificate from Edureka. So after the completion of the course, there will be a project assignment. Upon the successful completion of the project assignment, there will be a verifiable certificate available from Edureka after the completion of that project curriculum. Yeah. Okay. So then we'll discuss in depth the PowerCenter Designer, the client component of PowerCenter, which we will also use practically to design the mappings to get yourself acquainted, as well as get that expert options for all the transformations, for most of the transformations, not all the transformations available because of the constraints of the system availability. I'll let you know that what are the constraints and what are the transformations that we will be taking you through. And then we will be discussing about PowerCenter Workflow Manager and Monitor. So these are the client tools where we will build up the sessions and workflows. Don't mind about the terms. I will let you know that what are the sessions, what are the workflows, and those things. And people having a bit of idea about the Informatica, I'm seeing that some of you has worked in Informatica or have the overview of Informatica. They I think already know what are these Workflow Manager and Workflow Monitor. Monitor is basically a client platform where you can monitor the jobs that you are going to execute from Informatica PowerCenter. Then there are some advanced concepts on the transformation, like our Java transformation, the XML transformation, which needs some specific knowledge either to that particular language or some specific format to get yourself acquainted with those sources and targets. Yeah. Then we'll talk about the reusability part of it, the parameters and variables. How can I use the parameters and variables, to build reusable components, or to use the same job, connect to the different sources and different targets, and performing the same set of activities. Then then we'll discuss about debugging, troubleshooting, error handling, and recovery. These are some of the most important concepts that we should cover, or that we should know while we are developing the ETL jobs, or not only the ETL jobs, even the ETL framework or designing any ETL solutions that will need this. So debugging and troubleshooting will be helpful for the persons who will be assigned to the support and maintenance project, where they will have to look out for the jobs failure and and recover within the certain SLS. So debugging will also be needed. And error handling and recovery error handling is mostly basically from the perspective of creation of the ETL jobs as well as the ETL solutions. So how can we what are the different designs available for error handling from within the Informatica. Then module 8 will be discussing about CAS. What are the importance of CAS and where Informatica is using CAS and how they are using CAS. What are the different calculations available for CAS? How can I estimate that how much size of the CAS will be? So all these things will be developed or discussed here in the module 8. Then the important chapter, performance tuning optimization. Yeah, for any tool or any languages, whatever you learn. So they have certain set of best practices to make the most out of it. So those practices, if can be followed religiously, you are bound to get the best product out of that particular best result out of that particular product. Yeah. So those set of rules will be discussed over here. And apart from that, how to troubleshoot that, where are the bottlenecks, and how can we optimize those bottlenecks? Those will also be discussed over here. So it's basically a very long topic and have around some around 150 slides. I've tried to cover most of the aspects that are possible from Informatica PowerCenter side. However, if something is missed, and if you find that something is missed, you can post that in the forum and we can discuss that topic as well. Yeah, then we'll have the repository manager. Now, after completion of the performance tuning optimization, we'll be moving a bit towards the administration part of it. As this course is basically, clubbed together, the development and the administration part both clubbed together. So once we complete the development, and we'll be moving towards a bit of that administration activity as well. And during the course also, I'll be providing you the basic set of administration activities that a person, Informatica person has to perform in their particular projects. Those will also be discussed. Now we'll move into that PowerCenter Repository Manager. This is again a client tool for PowerCenter, but has the facility of administrating some of the activities like creation of the folders, creation of the repository, configuring the domain repositories, migration part. PowerCenter repository is one of the important tool for those kind of activities. Then we'll move on to that Informatica Administration Console and the security provided the Informatica. Administration Console is a web-based interface where which we can use to administrator a lot of Informatica repositories, Informatica domain, Informatica services. And once that is done, we'll discuss Informatica technical architecture. So this particular topic will cover both Informatica as a whole, Informatica Platform as a whole, as well as in specific Informatica PowerCenter. And along with that, we'll also cover the different component services that are available in Informatica, like the log management services, then your repository services, the integration services architecture, and then how Informatica handles memory handling from Informatica by Informatica PowerCenter. This thing will be discussed here. Then we will show you the Informatica installation operations. Already we have an installation procedure document available in the LMS. You can access it as of now, and I have given the detailed step of how to install, from where to access, everything that is mentioned over there. And operations manual, these are basically something that you will need. That will need during if we are assigned to a support project. So those are the set of operations that a person mainly has to perform during a support and maintenance kind of activity. Yeah, and then we'll look out for that Informatica command line utilities that is provided by Informatica. So there will be some cases, some situation which will arise, during the course of your work with Informatica PowerCenter. You will see that some of the time administration console may not be available, or some of the thing which will lead you to use Informatica command line activities. Just like let us consider that you want to schedule a job from a scheduling tool, right? So Informatica command line utilities will be helpful for you to execute a job from a scheduler. Right. Then we'll cover some of the important ETL scenarios using Informatica PowerCenter. So mostly, the data housing scenarios, in the sense that slowly changing dimensions, incremental aggregation, constraint-based loading, and some other activities like the handling of flat files, handling of XML files, some of the Java transformation activities. So those things will be covered under this module. And then we'll have a discussion about the best practices and velocity methodology. So velocity is a proprietary term from Informatica. So here Informatica will have some of the recommended ways of using Informatica, and these recommended ways have been recommended by Informatica themselves. And the best practices part is like these are acquired or collected based on my experience during all the data integration project that I have worked with, and with some of the conception from my colleagues as well. So best practices and velocity methodologies will provide you the set of best practices that you should use, or during that development of the projects, or the execution of the project as well. Yeah, so once we these are the topics that we'll be covering. This is we are having around 16 modules, and during each module, apart from that module 1 and module 2, rest of the modules will have lot of libraries, lab assignments associated with it, and I'll be showing you that how to use your system to use the Informatica, and what are the assignments for the lab. So some of the assignments we'll be doing in the class itself, but due to the constraint in the time, I mean, some of the assignment I will keep it with you for your work, in our spare time, and we'll come back in our next class, and I will see that if you faced any difficulties while performing those set of activities. Yeah, so now we're going to start this particular module. So the objective for this particular module is understand Informatica product suite, explain the purpose of PowerCenter as ETL tool, understand PowerCenter architecture. So here basically I'll be providing you the basic architecture of PowerCenter, and in specific to PowerCenter. So we'll not have a very detailed discussion of Informatica PowerCenter architecture over here, not about the services, or the memory handling, those kind of things will not be covered over here. That will be covered in that module that I mentioned, in that module 12. So once that is done, we'll understand that how component-based, what is basically component-based development techniques, and how that is being used in Informatica PowerCenter to easy your development activities. Right. So to understand any product, any specific tool, we should understand the vendor basically, and what is basically its market. So Informatica, being a data integration company, being focused to singularly on the data integration solutions, so it has developed or acquired the product which is related to the data integration. Let us see what are the different products available for Informatica. So this is basically a diagrammatic representation provided by Informatica about their some bit of statistics, like founded in 1993. The 2012 revenue was 816 million, and employees around 2810. But noteworthy point is it has around 5,000 customers spread over 82 countries, and Informatica has got direct presence in 28 countries. Yeah, so it has got a larger customer base, and people are using Informatica vastly for their data integration solutions. So a lot of companies are using these days Informatica to perform their data integration activities. Informatica Corporation provides data integration software and services for various business, industries, and government organizations, including telecom, healthcare, financial, and insurance services. As I said, that sole aim for Informatica is to provide you the solution for your data integration needs. Now, there are a wide range of products available under the Informatica product suite that helps satisfy the data integration requirements. The product portfolio is like, data integration ETL. This is basically where your PowerCenter, software lies. Apart from that, Informatica has ILM, Information Lifecycle Management, complex event processing, data masking, data quality, data replication, data virtualization, master data management, alter messaging. So Informatica has got product for all these set of activities, all these set of the applications. The current versions available for Informatica PowerCenter is 9.5.1. I'm sorry, 9.6. However, what we'll be discussing in this particular class, it's around 9.5.1. And the same version is available in the download link as well that I'll be providing to you. So yeah, so these are basically the different the products that Informatica offers to you, and where we can use this particular product. So we have got on-premises, we have the options for on-premises server, and we have option for the on-cloud server as well. And these are the different set of data that we can process. We have social data, we can process social data, we can process device data, we can process partner data. So when I say partner data is basically specific formatted data available to specific industries. I think people acquainted with healthcare must be acquainted with the term HIPAA, right? So like that, we have got something called SWIFT. There are specific formats available for EDIs, electronic data interchange, right? So these kind of specific formats, Informatica has got connectors to get the source, get the thing, get the data from those particular specific sources as well, right? So this is something that availability of the tools from Informatica product suite and how they work. This is the diagram that is depicting that how they work and where they work basically. So we have got a cloud data integration to work with the cloud. We have got B2B data exchange to work with the partner data. We have got data quality, complex event processing, and master data management to work with the different set of data available. Then we have got on-premises where we have enterprise data integration and ultra messaging available over there, and we have got at the same time we have got cloud data integration as well. Then we have got information lifecycle management. So now what are these products doing? We'll have a brief of discussion available in next slide. So yeah, so this is again that Informatica product suites and their functionalities. So what Informatica is saying that we have for any user they have got a tool related to the data integration solution. So we have got tool for business users, we have got tool for a business analyst, we have got tool for the architects, developer, and data steward. So any set of data integration project, any project related to the data integration, Informatica have got their tool. Analytics, application integration, application to application integration, business to business integration, data migration, data quality, big data, master data management, and information lifecycle management. And any environment it is available. We have got the department. We can use it in a departmental, as a departmental tool to develop our data marts and this thing. We can use it enterprise-wise. We can use it in cloud. We can use it with big data or the Hadoop, and we have got the embedded platform as well. The recent Informatica Vibe platform will enables you to embed data integration and quality processes natively into your own applications. So Vibe is available for you to use, and which will help you to embed your data integration solutions to your existing applications. So Vibe is available for you to use, and which will help you to embed your data integration solutions to your existing applications. Yes, Shweta. The partner data is basically the specific formatted data that we use to exchange the information. Like for any set of industries, they have got that common exchange method between them, so that that data arising out from one particular vendor can be understandable by other particular vendor by using a common set of understanding between them. So this is basically the specific set of formatted data that is available, and these are specific to certain industries. As I said, for healthcare industries, we have got HIPAA, right? So these set of formats, they are available to the specific industries, and Informatica has got the tool to decipher those formats and get the data from there as well. Yeah, hope does this answer your questions, Shweta? So yeah, as I was saying that what are the different tools available, a bit of discussion will be there in the subsequent slides. So the PowerCenter that we'll be discussing in next couple of days, it's basically fully integrated end-to-end data integration platform. Informatica PowerCenter Enterprise converts raw data into information to drive analysis, daily operations, and data governance initiatives. Then we have got information lifecycle management. This is basically organizations help organizations to cost effectively handle data growth, safely retire data legacy system and applications. So when your data is growing, you should have a kind of archiving policy in place, right? So Informatica information lifecycle management will help you and formulating the archiving policy and implement them enterprise-wide to retire your data. Then we have got complex event processing. Informatica's RulePoint is a complex event processing software that delivers robust and effective complex event processing with real-time alerts and insights into the pertinent information to operate in a smarter, faster, efficient, and competitive way. Then the data masking. So a lot of cases arise where you are not supposed to work with real-time data. Like in the healthcare industries, clients will not allow you to work with the real-time data because they contain confidential information about the patients, right? So Informatica has got a tool to mask the data. So whatever it will be, the same data will be available, but it will be masked. You will not be able to see that what are the real information available over there. So you can work with the data and you can deliver the data there, and there is a demasking technology which will be able to convert that masked data to that original data as well. That is also available from Informatica. Now, data quality. Data quality is basically, it's about deciding on the characters of the data. How clean the data is, how qualified the data is. So Informatica data quality provides clean, high quality data regardless of the size, data format, platform, or technology to the business. So it helps in validating and improving address information. I'll say that why I specified the address information here, and then profiling and cleansing business data, and implementing or governing practice, and to ensure that the data quality requirements are met. Now, why I just specified that address information, because Informatica has recently, not recently, a couple of years back, acquired a tool, Address Doctor. So it has got around, the address validation for around 200 countries. And there are countries with grade A where you can, grade A, grade B, basically division categories. So for the grade A countries, you can even get that 100% match for the addresses. So that particular tool is also embedded within the data quality solutions that is offered from Informatica. Then we have data replication tool. It is basically to replicate the data. It is database agnostic, real-time transaction replication software that is highly scalable, reliable, and non-disruptive to the performance of operational source systems. So to perform the data replication, we can use Informatica's data replication solution. Then we have got data virtualization. So what is the data virtualization? That will be covered. What is the concept in the data virtualization? That will be covered, in subsequent slides. We have that in our slide. And then we have Informatica data service provides a single scalable architecture for both data integration and data federation, creating a data virtualization layer that hides and handles the complexity of accessing underlying data sources, all while insulating them for change. Right. So Informatica also provides a data virtualization solution for your data integration need. Then we have got master data management. So Informatica has got MDM tool available in Informatica product family, which can help you to consolidate that business critical data, what we call master data as well. And then Ultra Messaging is a family of next generation low latency messaging middleware products with a very high throughput and 24/7 reliability. So this is basically the that complex event processing tool available from Informatica. I'm seeing one questions here. Yeah, Rupesh, the concepts of data quality will be covered, but Informatica data quality tool is not part of this scope actually. Any other product apart from PowerCenter in this batch? No, the sole attention would be given to that PowerCenter, and whatever we will be discussing, that will be based on the PowerCenter as well, the capability of PowerCenter, and how we can use the PowerCenter in different ETL scenarios. So mostly the PowerCenter will be covered. Yeah, so yeah, then as I said, that some of the recent acquisition by Informatica, Application, leader in application information lifecycle management, data archive, data privacy, data subset, address doctor, leader in worldwide name and address validation for over 200 countries, providing customer with the highest quality of name and address content for the name and address standardization and validation. So if we have understanding of data quality, what we see that when we enter the data, or persons entering the data, they might mistype while entering the address, while entering their name, mostly the city, the street address, the number of the house. So these things most of the time they are mistype. So what happens was, and in the application, you will not have a consistent view of the customers, right, about their addresses. So to match that, you can use the data quality feature, this address doctor, to get that exact address for some of the countries. It's not available for all the countries basically, but for some of the countries you can get even the exact match for this particular address. Yeah. Then we have got agent logic, which Informatica acquired in 2009. It is basically complex event processing software and complex event processing and operation intelligence software. And then we have got Cyprian. Cyprian is the MDM tool for Informatica. So whatever we are knowing as Informatica MDM now, that was basically Cyprian, which Informatica acquired in 2010. Yeah, so these are the different resources that you can avail and available for free from Informatica. the corporate website. You should have an account, free. You can register it freely with the Informatica corporate website. All other steps will be available apart from that online support from Informatica, which is available only to the customers. Then we have got Informatica University, where you can get certain set of information regarding your certifications and the learning path, as well as certain set of documentation as well. Then we have got customer portal. This is exclusively available for Informatica customers. Then product documentation, that is also available to all of you. The detailed documentation of the different products available. Then we have got a knowledge base, technical support from Informatica, that is also exclusively available for their customers. However, in the forum, if you post the questions, they are mostly answered by different Informatica experts. And Informatica product certifications. So this is also available from Informatica. Yeah, so this is that Informatica corporate websites and education services. The corporate website is informatica.com. This provides you information about corporate information and background, upcoming events, and access to the Informatica communities, blogs, etc. Then we have got Informatica education services, which will give you about this will give you idea about the new training that Informatica is providing, Informatica as a vendor is providing, and you will be able to know about the Informatica certification as well. Let me show you that website. Yeah, so this is that PowerCenter Informatica PowerCenter, the certification page. We have got two set of certifications available. One is PowerCenter Data Integration Administrator Specialist, and another is PowerCenter Data Integration Developer Specialist. So persons working the developer track can pursue this particular certification, and people wanted to work in Informatica Administrator or working as an Informatica Administrator can pursue the Informatica Administrator that particular track. Okay, so as I said that we have got documentation available, documentation knowledge base available. That product documentation can be accessed from the Informatica website, and the knowledge base contains the documented solutions to known technical issues, and answers to the frequently asked questions, white papers, technical tips, perform generic or specific searches. So from my.informatica.com, you'll be able to get those knowledge base available, documented knowledge base available for different known technical issues. Yeah, this is available. Technical support is available solely to the customer. And believe me, Informatica has got a very strong technical support, and which is really available in 24/7, because a lot of scenarios that happened. We have received P1 and P2 situation. We called Informatica, and within half an hour they gave us a call back, and they even arranged the WebEx seminar between us, and they normally arrange the WebEx seminar between the customers if they do not understand the problem just by speaking to us. So and that problem got resolved. So response from the Informatica was definitely excellent. And this is that PowerCenter education and certification part. So this is the part that we are going to cover. PowerCenter 9 quick cert, then administrator level 1 and level 2. So in this particular course, we have tried to club all these educational, whatever the categories that Informatica has categorized, like level 1 and level 2 and administrator. So level 1 and level 2 has been covered over here in this course, and administrator level, the basic concept of the administrator, Informatica Administrator has also been covered, and there, the daily activities that Informatica Administrator has to perform, that will also be covered. Yeah, now coming to that Informatica PowerCenter tool. Yeah, so if you have any questions regarding the slides that we have just covered, and if you have any questions regarding the Informatica, you can ask me now. We'll be able to we can try to answer those questions. Yeah, Amal. Yeah. Static IPs will be required, but you can use that loopback connector, loopback network adapter to configure a static IP, as well as your you can even at the same time you can connect to that internet as well. So mostly when you connect to a router, you connect to the internet through a router, you're assigned a dynamic IP, right? But for Oracle to work, but as because that server and client are the same machine, I don't think you will face any problem. But if you face any problem, you can configure a loopback adapter about which a lot of documentations are available in internet. I can also forward you those kind of documentation, and you can install Oracle and you can work with Informatica as well. Yeah, I mean, you can use Oracle 10G, starting from Oracle 10G. Oracle 9i is also fine, but Oracle 10G Express is readily available. You can use that at a bare minimum I'm talking about. So at a bare minimum, you can download Oracle 10G Express and you can go ahead with installation of Informatica. How to prepare for certification specifically? So yeah, I mean, the concepts of Informatica will be required, as well as you'll have to register for this particular certification, and Informatica will provide you a set of the sample questions. You can prepare that from there as well as I'll be discussing some of the questions in between our class during the time of our module quiz. So there also you will get to know that what are the different kind of certification questions that generally being asked during that certification exam. Now it's about Informatica PowerCenter. That is the ETL tool that is Informatica offering for all your data integration need. And Informatica ETL tool is basically it's a highly scalable, high performance enterprise data integration software. It provides a cost-effectively solution to scale, that Informatica PowerCenter environment to satisfy your growing data needs. So, what Informatica says, it's a single unified enterprise data integration platform that allows company and the government organization of all sizes to access, discover, and integrate data from virtually any business system. Please note the point, virtually any business system in any format, and deliver the data throughout the enterprise at any speed. So by data from virtually any business system, by that Informatica means that they have got connectors for available for all set of sources and targets which are generally being used by the business to perform their business activities. Right, so it has got connectors for SAP, it has got connectors for other ERPs, it has got connectors for the big data, it has got connectors for other application sources as well, partner data, everything. And PowerCenter has also the web service hub through which it can talk to the web services as well. It can get the data from web service, it can publish the data in the web service as well. And then PowerCenter, it's an ETL tool. The main advantage of PowerCenter is that it can be installed in both Unix and Windows-based machine, and as well as it's very, very simple for developing, maintaining, and administrating. So the interfaces that Informatica PowerCenter is providing to you is very intuitive, and you will not have to spend much of a time to understand that what this particular thing is, how this particular thing is going to work. And it's from the user friendliness, Informatica is kind of one of the top choice for that business. For any of the business integration needs, right? So the tool which are having easy user interface, and people can understand them very quickly, they are basically preferred in all set of activities. That may be a data integration need, that may be some other needs that from the business. So in that case, Informatica PowerCenter is one of the easiest tool to learn, and that concepts, and even if that is easiest, it performs the most complex tasks by those easiest means. And apart from that, the availability for Informatica PowerCenter in both Windows and Unix-based environments enable business to get their data integration solution need fulfilled based on their budget, the system budget, and everything. Yeah. Okay, so connectors in the sense, the ETL tool need to connect to the source and to the target, because the purpose of the ETL tool is to extract the data, transform in between, and to load the data. So connectors are basically, the drivers, you can say, which will help you to connect to the different source systems or different target systems. Source systems may be your, the application sources, the database sources, the flat file sources, the XML sources, and the message queue sources, everything, any of the source system, and similarly the data, the target systems as well. Yeah. Okay. So now, yeah. So the current version is 9.6.1 HF2. HF2 is basically hotfix 2. So Informatica, religiously release the hotfixes to fix their bugs that were present in some of the previous versions. So the hotfixes come as a separate installation. So you can directly install the hotfix, or you can upgrade your existing installation with the hotfix. So from 9.8x onwards, this should be actually from 8.x onwards. From 8.6 onwards, PowerCenter has moved from your server-oriented architecture to the service-oriented architecture, where they have created services to perform the different set of activities. So what is service-oriented activity? That will be discussed later. So from version 8.x onwards, that will not be 9.6, that will be 8.x onwards. PowerCenter has moved to the service-oriented architecture, and from 9.x, they have consolidated their other relevant tool in a single Informatica platform, and those are offered to the customer as a whole, but with the restriction usage, with the restriction provided by that by the license available from the Informatica. So it is whenever you are installing Informatica, you are basically installing the mostly the all set of relevant services regarding Informatica data quality, Informatica analyst, and everything. But it is the license that you are buying that will restrict you to use certain set of features. So how that is done, I will show you later. The previous versions neither use or not on the support of Informatica. So Informatica retire the applications. As of now, 8.6.1 that is also not supported. So only the 9.x these products are supported, officially supported by Informatica. But the companies they do have agreement with Informatica to get some extended support. So that is also available. Yeah. So now we have got PowerCenter architecture. So the architecture of PowerCenter version 8.x onwards is based on our service-oriented architecture, or SWA concept. Sweta, yeah, the VSM files, Informatica has got that driver to get the data from the VSM files as well. So we are compatible with that mainframe file systems. So Express I suggested because I think most of you will be installing it in your personal machine, right? Personal laptops. So Express Edition consumes less set of resources within your personal machine. So your machine will be less loaded. That's why I suggested the Express Edition. Otherwise, if you can go ahead with the Oracle other versions as well, that will also do. That service-oriented architecture can be defined as a group of services which communicate with each other. The process of communication involves either the simple data passing, or it could involve two or more services coordinating the same activity. So now for Informatica has created different services which perform their own set of tasks and communicate with each other. I'll show you in the subsequent diagram what are the services that are relevant to the PowerCenter architecture, and what are the things that they communicate within themselves to create an ETL job as well as to execute an ETL job, right? So that is what we are calling as a service-oriented architecture. So here all the services they are communicating. We do not have any specific application that is performing this activity. So these are the services that are continuously executing, and they are communicating with each other to perform certain set of activities. So what are the things that they are communicating, and how they are communicating, and how the memory is being handled by those processes, that will be discussed in detail in that technical architecture session. However, a bit of overview will be given here as well. Now represents a major change in architecture of the product line in terms, because Informatica 9.x consolidated all set of Informatica Platform, which are relevant to the data integration, like data quality, data analyst, and everything, into one platform, and it gives you the opportunity to use everything, provided you have paid the license cost for each and every services. So it's the license that will restrict you to use certain set of services at the same time, and will not be able to use certain set of features available from Informatica PowerCenter or Informatica Platform if you don't have the license. And there is also option for putting the Delta license available from Informatica as well. So at certain point of time where you will have only need for the data integration, you can buy a basic license for Informatica PowerCenter Standard Edition, and you can carry on your work with the Informatica PowerCenter Standard Edition. Later, you have got a need for include your data quality solution as well. Right, so then you can even buy the Delta license from Informatica Corporation, and then you can enable that particular features in your product as well. So the aim is to provide improved performance and high availability. And approach is basically that re-engineering that earlier product that it had previous to the 8.x. The underlying architecture has been made by re-engineering. The underlying architecture has been made even more service-based. So as I said that PowerCenter has moved to a service-based solution. Yeah. So this is what we are talking about, the single unified architecture framework from Informatica. So for the PowerCenter basically. So we have got if you look at that big box, right? Here we have got PowerCenter client and PowerCenter server. The server is having a services framework, a repository service, a integration service. This is a repository data store, and this is the web service hub, and this is that administrator console that is available to administrator the server, to administrator the PowerCenter the services. Now what are these? Repository service, integration service, repository, web services, designer, workflow manager. I'll tell you here in subsequent slides. Now these are the providers. Provided in the sense the sources. As I said that it has got connectors to mostly virtually any set of applications or any set of database relational and flat files for any set of sources. So we have got these are the providers, the package applications, relational flat files, mainframe and mid-range, the servers, everything, right? And the consumers are again the portal dashboards. So XML messaging and web services, package applications, relational flat files. So we can build up a solution where we can get the data from package application and even post the data in package application as well. So Informatica there will be used as a data as a middleware. So Informatica is a certified partner for SAP data migration or data integration, we can say. So SAP certified partner for SAP data migration. So we can connect to SAP, get the relevant data from there, and perform the transformation within it, and again even push to SAP. So we can connect to SAP R3, the ERP system SAP, perform the transformation and push the data to SAP BW. That is also available. Yeah. So this kind of scenario is also available, and I have worked in this kind of scenario as well. So yeah, the proven scalability. Scalability is basically a feature which enables you to scale up your existing infrastructure when your data grows. So when your demand for higher data consumption, like a business expanding, right? As well as the customers are also expanding. So like for a company which has just started providing cloud-based solution. So for initial few years, there will be a huge growth for them because that a lot of people are having interest in cloud-based solutions. So they will have a huge growth in their data as well. So in order to scale that, they have to scale up their infrastructure as well. Informatica provides cost-efficient and scalable infrastructure for their particular PowerCenter. PowerCenter architecture has been made in like that. So we have got option for partitioning, which will enable you threaded parallel processing as well as in-memory pipeline. So like we can connect to the source and target parallelly to acquire the data or to push the data, and even we can process the transformation within Informatica server parallelly to provide you the data in very low latency, the time scale basically. So when you have got the time scale, time window, shrinking time window, that you mostly having the requirement for real time data arrival from your source system to certain target applications, right? Let us assume a scenario for CRM based solutions, right? So in a call center, whenever people is calling, that person will tell you that please wait for some time, let me get a relevant information from the system, right? So these systems should be available in the CRM system in a very low latency time period, right? Otherwise, it will, I mean, that person sitting at that call center will not be able to see the most relevant information of you. So in this kind of scenario, when your processing window shrinks or your data grows, right? You need to scale up your application architecture. So PowerCenter provides that options within their partitioning options. So partitioning is one of the options by which you can scale up your infrastructure. There are other options as well. As I said, that PowerCenter has got two components. The first one is the client component. The first one is the server component, and the next one is the client component. Right. So server component, whenever you are installing Informatica, you will have two installers available. One is the server installer, one is the client installer. So server installer will basically install the services in your machine. The Informatica service, if you're using a Windows machine, Informatica installer will install Informatica services that will be able to see from your services .msc, that particular application. Just a moment, let me show you one thing. So what I was going to show you, so whenever you will install Informatica, if you go to this services.msc application available in Windows, you'll see one Informatica services. See, one Informatica services installed, Informatica service has been created, right? So this is that service manager that is available from Informatica, and this manages all other services. So now this is the real service that is available, and other services that I'm talking about here, the repository services, integrated services, they are logical segregation. They are logical services, but they perform the different activities, but they're logical services, and they will be available. They will be seen to you from your administrator console. I'll show you that where to see that integration service and where to see that repository service. Yeah, so these are the client tools available from Informatica: repository manager, the PowerCenter designer, PowerCenter workflow manager, PowerCenter workflow monitor, and PowerCenter administrator console. So yeah, just a moment. So I mean, the logos are not actually appropriate with respect to the Informatica provided logo. I've just designed in a different way. So repository manager, as I said, it's a more inclined to the administrative work, like deployment of that workflows to one environment to another environment, creation of the folders, looking at that session execution time, etc., and like assigning permissions to the folders, etc. PowerCenter Designer is the main tool for any developer who is developing Informatica mapping or ETL mapping. It has got the transformations. It has got the transformation which you can use to build up a new mapping, right? PowerCenter Workflow Manager. Workflow Manager is a place where you will build up the sessions and the workflows. Sessions are there to execute your mapping, and when there will be lot of sessions dependent to each other or may not be dependent to each other, and or performing the same set of activities or same group of activities, we can keep them in a single workflow and assign that flow of the sessions in that particular workflow with that option of dependability or event-based dependence, everything that is available from Workflow Manager. And then there is Workflow Monitor. Workflow Monitor is a place where you can monitor the jobs. So once a job has been triggered, you'll have to for mostly the support and maintenance project, you'll have to check how much time it is consuming to complete that particular job, and what is that throughput of that particular job current as of now, right? And what is that runtime statistics available from there. So that is what are the session log, what it is writing in the session log. In case of any failure, you'll have to investigate the session log, you'll have to investigate the workflow log, you'll have to check the runtime statistics. Everything will be available from your Workflow Monitor. And then we have got PowerCenter Administrator Console. Administration console. So this is a browser-based application where Informatica provide their consolidated information about the domain, node, and the different services as well as the license. Now I'll show you a bit about all these applications of the clients as well as this administration console. Yeah. So this is the repository manager. where we'll be creating the folders. We'll have that option for changing the password. Let me connect to it. You'll get some other options as well. Yeah, see workflows, and see these are the workflows available in this particular folder, right, under this particular repository. So what is folder and what is the repository? Definitely I'll tell you later when we'll install the Informatica, as well as we'll start working with Informatica PowerCenter Designer. Okay, and these are the sessions that were executed. Just a minute. So no, these are the sessions that is present over there. And if you see, no, okay. So these are the sessions that are available, and these are the mappings that are available in the repository. So this particular interface or the client is basically needed mostly for your mostly more inclined to our application administration. So we have got deployment groups as well available, by which using which we can migrate the workflows from one environment to another environment. So now apart from that, we have got, as I said, that we have got designer as well. So this is the designer what we will create will create that mapping. So we have got the option for creating a mapping. When you say it, a new mapping are created, and then we can add on the transformations available here. So once we create a mapping, we can add up the transformations, and we can start creating the ETL job, right? So, and this is that your workflow manager interface. Yeah, this is the place where we build the sessions and build the workflows, and this is your monitor. Yeah, so once you log in, if you're executing a job, you'll be able to see it from here. And two views are available, NAT chat and task view. How they can be used, I'll tell you later. Right. And this is the Informatica Administrator console that is available. Okay, so we have got, this is the integration service, this is the repository service available. And for this, just a moment, it has got session expired. Anyway, so yeah, that is basically the interface that is, administrator interface that is available to perform the administration set of activities. Yeah. I think everyone is muted. I just unmuted Sravin. Yeah. Yeah. So, Sravin, I'm muting you again. Yeah. So yeah, should we start? The next session after the break. Yeah, so I'm getting a couple of yes, so I'll start. Yeah, and for all of you, my question is like is the session being informative to you, and are you getting something new about Informatica? Whatever till now, whatever you have covered, like is it fine with your expectation that you are expecting from the course, or you want some other aspects also to discuss? Yeah, Gulshan, I'll tell you about the repository. What is repository and everything? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, let us move for the next slides. So yeah, as I was saying, now these are that PowerCenter server components, repository service, and integration service. They are the mandatory part or mandatory server component to be present in PowerCenter. Unless and until both of them are present, you will not be able to perform the ETL activity. Yeah. Then BW service and web service hub, these are optional services available from Informatica PowerCenter. You can configure it, but if you only have the requirement to get connected with the system. So if you have the requirement of connecting to a SAP BW system, you can use that SAP BW service. You can create SAP BW service, or if you have the requirement for connecting to the web services hub, web services, either you need to consume the data from web service, or you need to publish the data to web service, publish the data as a form of web service. So you can use your web service hub, that particular service. Now, repository service is one of the major component for Informatica PowerCenter because it manages the repository. It retrieves, inserts, updates the metadata into the repository database table. Now then, what is repository? That's one of the most relevant question. Right? No, Tanvi, I'll show you that during the installation, we'll show you how these services basically need to be created first. Then only they will be, you will be able to execute them. Okay, and we have the options for stopping them in between. Yeah, basically I'm talking about the metadata only. So Informatica is a tool which highly relies on the metadata architecture. Now, what is this metadata? So whatever coding that you are performing in the designer, whatever the sessions in the designer for the coding that are performing, in the workflow manager, what are the sessions, workflows, and what are the conditions that you're providing, what are the connection informations that we are creating, everything Informatica stores in a relational database table. So that particular relational database table is called the repository. Mandatory requirement for Informatica installation is to create two database users. One is for your domain repository and one is for your metadata repository, or the repository in a larger sense. Right? The domain database or the domain repository will contain relevant information about the domain, and this metadata repository or the repository database will contain that relevant information about your ETL codes, ETL sessions, ETL workflows, connections, the conditions, everything there, right? And then we have got the integration service, which basically facilitates the execution of sessions and the workflows. Right? Now we are coming into the architecture. So I'll show you step by step what are the components that are getting introduced and how they are communicating with each other. So when we are installing Informatica, we have our domain created. Now what is domain? I'll tell you. But let us assume that domain is something, right? So what is domain? I'll tell you later. Our domain is created, right? When our domain is created, we have got the interfaces like Informatica administrator as well as this domain database available, right? So whenever a domain needs to be created, our domain database should also be available. Domain database meaning our user or the schema in our Oracle database. So domain is basically a fundamental administrative unit for Informatica nodes and services. Now here again, that unknown terms, nodes and services, that will be explained later. An Informatica domain is a collection or group of nodes and services that define the Informatica platform. So it's basically an administrative unit through which we can administer different Informatica components, PowerCenter components like nodes and services mostly, right? A PowerCenter domain that we create while installing PowerCenter is called that local domain, right? And domain, this is the domain that we access when you log into Informatica Administration Console. Now, when you log into Informatica Administration Console, when you log into that Informatica Administration Console, yeah. So yeah, this is the domain that is created when we have installed the Informatica on this particular. Just a minute, it's still loading. Yeah. So this is the domain that we have created. That was created when we have installed the Informatica in this particular machine, right? And domain configuration information is stored in a set of relational database tables, which is managed by the service manager. Service manager, that is basically a component of Informatica server, and that particular relational data set of tables or the schema that is containing that particular set of tables is called the domain database or the domain repositories. Now, what are the information that domain keeps? That is the host name and the port numbers for all the nodes available there, including the master gateway node, the CPU usage for each and every application service, number of repository services running in the domain, native or LDAP users and groups, privileges and roles assigned. So mostly, the detailed, the information about the host and the port numbers and the users and groups, they are contained within, they are in the domain databases, right? And also the related privileges and roles assigned to the users and group. So those are the contents of that Informatica domain database. Now move on to the topic. Sorry. Now, once you install domain, after that you'll have to configure your node. So when you are installing, at the same point of time, first you will be asked for the domain, and then you will be asked for the creation of the node, right? Now, this is the node that I have created. What is the node? Node is basically the machine where we are installing the Informatica. So there can be a single node domain, there can be a multi-node domain as well. When there are multiple nodes available for a single domain, one node will work as a gateway node, and other master gateway node, and other node will be available as a worker node or the gateway node. So there can be multiple gateway nodes. One of them will be master gateway node, and there can be worker nodes. And that option will only be available when you can create multiple nodes, but creating the feature or availing the feature of grid and high availability will only be available if you have requisite license available for that. So the concept of master gateway node, worker nodes, that will only come into feature when your license will permit you to use them those particular features. Yeah. So now the node is basically a logical representation of the machine, or wherever we are installing it, and each node runs a service manager. So the service manager is basically present for each of the node available that where we are installing Informatica. The gateway node, as I said, the gateway node receives the service requests from the clients and routes them to the appropriate service and the node. A gateway node can run application services. In the administrator console, we can configure any node to serve as a gateway node for a PowerCenter domain. Okay. When we configure a domain with multiple gateway nodes, one node acts as a master gateway node. So as I said, that when there will be multiple nodes available, so one node will be act as a master gateway node, and the rest of the node will work as a worker node. So master gateway node will basically act as an entry point to the PowerCenter domain that we have created, right? And if the master data node become unavailable, the service manager or the other gateway node erect another master gateway node. So that is basically a part of or the feature of Informatica high availability solution, and you will need a license for that. That is available within Informatica, but at the cost of the license. So in the node, as I said, that we have got the service manager, which will be controlling that communication with the domain, as well as the other services. Is a service or daemon. Daemon in the sense in the service which is running continuously. We can call it a daemon, right? That runs. That's that's a term that we use mostly, which runs as a service, right? That runs on all nodes in the domain to support the application services and manages all the domain operations. So the activity of service manager is to support all the application services. What are application services? Application services are your integration service and the repository service, and the other two optional services that I have shown you, right? SAP BW service and web service, right? So the purpose of the service manager is to support the application services, and manage all that domain operations. So Informatica server or the node need to communicate to the domain, or the domain need to communicate to the domain repository, right, to get the relevant information. Right. So suppose say you are logging into a Informatica server, right? So that particular username has some set of privileges, right? So you can only access. Let us say that you are constrained by your privilege that you can only access to Informatica Designer. Only you can create the Informatica mapping, right? So that set of privileges will be validated by Service Manager when you log in, and you'll be given access, and that set of privileges stay in this domain database. So when you log in, it will first validate your data with this domain, with the privileges mentioned in the domain, and it will restrict you to those particular tool or set of services available to you only. Yeah, Pranit, as I said that Informatica has the partitioning options, which is a licensed feature, but it supports parallel processing. We have got, we can process, we can acquire the data or post the data parallelly from any sources, or we can, process them while in the transformation level as well parallelly. Right. So we have option for getting the partition, establishing the partition points. There are different partitions. Based on that, we can configure the parallel processing. So domain database and repository database, the difference between them is the content. Whatever they're containing, that is basically the different. As I said, domain database contains, that domain-related information, like the host name and the port number, the users and their privileges, and some set of that CPU-related information and those things. But repository is the main part of the heart of the ETL of this PowerCenter ETL tool. Repository contains everything that you are creating in Designer, in Workflow Manager. So your transformation, your mapping, your everything that is that you are creating, that is there in the repository. PowerCenter ETL tool heavily relies on the concept of metadata. It stores everything in a set of relational tables, right? So yeah, those are basically, those information are stored in the repository database. The metadata, we can say, it's only the metadata that repository contains. Apart from that, repository also contains, some of the logs, log-related, session log-related information as well. I will tell you that in detail what basically repository database contains, right? Yeah. So that node contains the integration service as well as the repository service, and this particular arrow is basically depicting that communication method between them, right? So Informatica repository service communicates with repository database using native drivers that is available coming with Informatica, with Informatica installation, and with the domain database as well, using the native drivers, right? And then the integration service talks to repository service using the TCP/IP protocol, and administrator on the console that talks to the domain. It has an option for HTTPS as well as HTTP as well. The PowerCenter client tools got introduced. So these client tools also need to communicate with the domain and the repository. Yeah. So the communication is via TCP/IP for both of them. Now, why they need to communicate? Because your privileges, when you are logging to a particular tool, your privileges need to be restricted. So that is the reason it need to talk to the domain, right? And you will be executing your job from your client only. So there actually we need to communicate to the integration service. You will need to get your relevant information from a repository database, right? What are the jobs that you have created, and whatever you are going to create, you are saving something, you are creating a new thing. Those things should go to the repository database. So that is why you need to talk to the repository service from your PowerCenter client. We have a Tomcat web server installed, installed by default whenever we are installing Informatica. That will actually host the Informatica administrator console. Then the sources and targets are also introduced. So sources communicate with Informatica either using native drivers or ODBC drivers. And again, the communication of the target is also the same, using the source and native drivers. ODBC or native drivers. Now, this is the overall architecture of PowerCenter, right? So now here we have got, as we already explained, we have got domain, we have got node, integration service, repository service, repository database, domain database, administration console, the sources, and the targets. And these clients, they also need to talk to sources as well as the targets, right? Why? Because you will have to create the metadata of your source in your designer. And that is the reason, a PowerCenter has the capability of importing the source definition. Mind it, the word definition. So PowerCenter has the capability of importing the source definition and the target definition from the sources and the target structure. So it only keeps the definition with him, right? Stores the definition, and rest of the thing is configured in the session. Why client need to connect to the target? Yeah. So let us show you, Subodh, one thing, right? Now, let us consider that we are creating a mapping. Okay. Now, this is a very simple mapping actually. So here we have got a source. This is a Oracle table, right? So now source definition should be present in the the designer in order to start the mapping. And now we should also specify where we are sending the data. So target definition should also be present. Now, in order to import the targets, right? So this is the target designer, and we have got the option for import from database. So based on this, actually, Informatica will import the definitions of the target, just like it has imported these two definitions. Yeah. So if we open that, don't worry, I'll show you later as well what is the purpose of target designer. Right. So this is the database. The database type is Oracle. The table name is customer target SAD2. These are the columns, and these are the data types for that. Right. So these information Informatica fetches from the target database. Okay. So that is the reason it needs to connect to the target to get those relevant metadata related information. Yeah, so this is the overall architecture along with all the components of Informatica PowerCenter that will be present when you will be developing that ETL jobs. Now, this particular slide will give you, a bit of detailed of every component mentioned just below to it, and it's a diagrammatic representation along with that detailed description as well. That the diagram is a bit hazy, but at the below there is a link provided there. You can access that particular link and you can get the detailed diagram over there. It's a basically a big diagram which due to the constraint of the space it has become some hazy, right? So you can use it. Just below there is a link available, and you can click on the link and you can get that particular diagram available from there. Okay, so this is what are the data flow in PowerCenter architecture. Now, whenever there is a solid line, that means the data is flowing. Whenever there is the dotted lines, the metadata is flowing, right? So we have got PowerCenter server engines, which has within itself that if we even try to segregate it, what are the other components available? Dig down that components. We have got buffer memories, readers, DTM, writer. Now, what are these? What are these? I'll tell you later when we'll have a detailed session on the architecture. But for now, bear with me. Consider this as a machine where PowerCenter server is installed. Right? Now, then PowerCenter server it connects to the sources, it connects to the targets using the native ODBC. So it is basically depicting that PowerCenter architecture in a different way by segregating that data path of the data that is flowing. Data means the transactional data, the data basically which we are transforming, the transformation data, and the metadata. So it basically shows you the different path through which metadata traverse and through which the transformation data traverse. Right? So the solid lines, right? So it connects to the source to get that source data. It connects to the target to push the target data. Then it uses the Power Connect. As I said, it was the connectors, right? So this is basically called Power Connect. So the name was given a lot earlier, but These are basically set of drivers available to connect to different sources and targets, right? SAP R3, BW, PeopleSoft, Sibyl, MQCD, TIBCO, JMS, remote files, etc. So through this Power Connect, it connect to the sources. It can directly connect to the sources if that is a the databases, right? Oracle, Teradata, this thing. It will have native and ODBC drivers, native or ODBC drivers available for it. So it can directly connect to it, or it can use the Power Connect to connect to this application sources, right? And in the same way, it can connect to the targets or the application targets as well. Now, this GDR and the object repository. So we have a concept of global repository. So what is global repository? Is basically a higher level repository of our local repository. So now the thing is, like, if you are installing Informatica with a single repository or with multiple repositories, you will not be able to share the objects between the repositories. Just like you create a reusable mapping in a particular repository A, right? But that particular object you'll not be able to share with other repository B, right? In order to achieve that, there is a concept of global repository which will facilitate the sharing of objects between different repositories. I'll show you how to create this global repository and how we can share it, how we can share the objects. So don't worry for that. Just for the conception purpose, keep it in your mind. Yeah. Then PowerCenter server, it connects to the different clients, right? And the metadata flows by this path, right? So workflow manager sends and takes metadata. Then repository service also communicates the metadata information to the workflow manager. Then we have got workflow monitor, repository manager, and the designer. Right. So this is basically that overall diagram of the architectural data flow. The next diagram will also have the same thing, but with So another option available for Informatica is metadata exchange, whereby we can create that metadata information. We can exchange the metadata information from our PowerCenter repository to certain tools. Right. So there will be Erwin, there will be Power Designer, some CWM tools, and there will be Hyperion Integration Manager. So within this, Informatica even exchange the metadata that is stored in the repository. So licensed feature metadata manager should be installed along with your installation. Otherwise, this feature will not be available. Right. But metadata manager is not part of this particular course. So now coming out from our node and domains, let us move to the next slide. The gateway node can be described as follows: is the node where all the core services are meant to run. The primary function of the gateway node is to route all the service requests from the PowerCenter client to the other available nodes. The gateway node is unavailable. If the gateway node is unavailable, a domain cannot accept any service request. However, only one node within the domain can act as a gateway node at any given point of time. So point to be noted, right? Only one node within the domain can act as a gateway node at any given point in time. As I was saying, that a particular node can act as a gateway node. So only one node can as a gateway node at a given point in time. And the primary function of the gateway node is to route all the service requests from the PowerCenter client to other available nodes, based on that availability of the particular nodes. What act as a backup if the master node fails? Yeah, so as I was saying, if we have high availability feature available through our licensing, so there we can configure more than one gateway nodes. One will be master gateway node and other will be normal. Other will be normal gateway nodes, right? So one of the gateway nodes can take up the responsibility of the master gateway node if that fails. Okay, this is the summarization of it. The gateway node routes requests from the clients to the appropriate node and service. So we have got different nodes available: as sales node, manufacturing node, finance node. Based on the departments, basically we have created different nodes. So that is also feasibility how it can be configured. Then the manufacturing node we are considering as a gateway node. So all the information coming in from that administration console, as well as your the PowerCenter clients, they are coming into the gateway nodes and they are distributed to the other nodes, right? And then the nodes and the services in the domain can be centrally administered using the PowerCenter administration console. So all the nodes which are under the single domain, and all the services that you have created there can be administered using that PowerCenter administration console. Informatica Services. Service is a resource that provides specialized functions. A PowerCenter processes runs as a service on a node. Okay. So application services represents server-based functions, including repository and integration services. As I said, those two mandatory services. Core services represent functions that manage and maintain the environment in which PowerCenter operates. So we have got two set of services. One is application services, which is basically the services which facilitate the application or the ETL activities, repository and the integration service, and which are the helper services for them, right? Those are called as a core services, which do not come into feature in terms of creating a ETL job or executing a ETL job, but it helps in different ways to while we are executing the ETL job, or we are providing mostly we are executing ETL job. Those set of core services are your log service, which provides your logging environment, the session logs, workflow logs, your node log, your domain log, your services log. Everything is created by managed by a central logging facility available from Informatica, right? Then you have a licensing services. Licensing service is to restrict yourself based on your available license to the best, restrict to the certain set of tools available for that particular license. And the domain services. Domain services is basically to restrict you to certain set of tools based on your privilege available, right? You can be only you can be assigned to only Informatica developer privilege. So in that case, you will only be given access to that. Let us say you will only be given access to that Informatica PowerCenter Designer as well as Informatica Workflow Manager, right? Maybe. So that kind of restriction that is done by that domain service. And this is the service manager, is a service that manages all domain operations and run on each node within a domain. On a gateway node, service manager is responsible for the following. So service manager runs in every node, but for the gateway node, it performs the following set of activity. It controls the domain, manages the services running on the domain, and providing the service lookup. Service lookup is basically a lookup facility to look up a particular service, which service is needed for a particular set of activities. So domain, gateway node, the gateway node the service manager provides this activity as well as it provides that less consumed node based on which it can even distribute the job as well. On all node, the service manager is meant to control the core services and the application services. So service manager executes on all nodes to control the core services and the application services. Yeah, so I have already discussed it. So this is a more compact view of PowerCenter, how different components they interact. That clients interact using the TCP/IP protocol with integration service as a repo service. That communication with the services are mostly through TCP/IP. Communication with the data source are either with native drivers or the ODBC. And communication with the administration console is through HTTP or HTTPS. So this is where I'm trying to show you that repository connectivity. So if we have two node domain, right? So these are called the repository client applications, and this is the repository database. In this particular box, we have domain. So this domain contain two nodes, node A and node B. So node A, both are having this service manager, which is controlling the domain functions, application services, and under application service is about repository service. Right? So it can so happen that we can decide to run a repository service on a particular node and integration service on a particular node. So it may not be that both of the services should be there. When we have a when we have a multi-node environment, then only this is possible, right? So when you have a multi-node environment, it can so possible we configure repository service on a single node and integration service on a other node, right? And node B can be considered as a gateway node. So service manager, domain functions, this is available here as well. Now, one important topic, component-based development technique. So what are these component-based development technique? Component, it's a technique where predefined components or function unit or both with the specific functionalities are used to assemble the final product. So we have got pre-built components available in Informatica. What are those? Those are the transformations. So we can have different set of transformations for filtering, for ranking, for aggregating, for providing different set of expression, for routing the data, for the XML transformations, for the sequence generator. There are a lot of transformations. So these transformations are the components that are already present in Informatica to help you out with your the transformation needs or the data integration needs. PowerCenter follows components-based development methodologies by allowing you to build a data flow from a source to target using different components called transformation. These components are called transformation, and linking them to each other as required. So you'll have to create the transformation as well as you'll have to link the transformation as well to create a particular mapping. Let us show you one thing. Yeah. So if we go to the designer, so these are the transformations available here. Okay. So these are the components that we have been given by Informatica to create our ETL jobs, right? Now, when we see one of that which has been checked out, let us open it. Yeah, so in the mapping, if we see create, these are the different set of transformations available from Informatica PowerCenter, and there will be certain extra transformation available to you as well, provided you install some set of connectors, connector drivers, some set of drivers actually along with this. So you may have the presence of SAP connectors available. You may have presence of Salesforce connectors available. Everything based on that your that availability license as well as that feature installation of that particular feature. This is about your component-based development environment, and so what this particular component-based development do? They perform the T of the ETL. The main transformation part is performed by these components, right? So it is here the data cleansing and formatting activities are actually performed along with data validation, which is one of the main functionalities. So apart from the transformation, it can perform the data cleansing and different set of formatting activities along with the data validation. In PowerCenter, transformations are functional components. Mind it, transformation are functional components in PowerCenter. In order to meet all kinds of requirements, a wide range of transformations are available, as I have shown you in that particular interface. The advantages, advantages are quite easier to understand. As the functional units are already built, you don't have to create it several times. You can reuse them, need not to build them from scratch, and can instead use them directly. Apart from making the entire process easier, this reduces the development time as well. So instead of writing manual code, the people who have been using the PL/SQL as a kind of ETL tool, or using PL/SQL to acquire the data or to transform the data, they will see the marked difference between using PL/SQL as well as using the Informatica as ETL tool. So they will get to know that what is the difference between them. But this actually reduces the development time to a very extent actually. This approach makes bug fixing easier as well as aid in various maintenance activities with only the malfunction components needing to be fixed. So we have got different set of logs available from where we can identify where the bug is. We have got the debugging facilities. We can understand that we can run the debugging. We can run the debug in the mapping as well. So from there as well, we can understand that where from the bug is arising, we can fix that, and that particular component need to be fixed. No other component need to be fixed, which otherwise would not have been possible in a code-based scenario. So if a certain stage is behaving wrongly, unless and until your the code is very well structured and well performed, right? So you may have to change a lot part of it instead of creating that particular component, right? Reusability is another factor. So you can reuse the transformation wherever you will need that kind of activities. You will get to know when we'll start activity with the transformations. Okay? So what are these components and how can we reuse that? What are the scenarios we can reuse that? Everything will be discussed. So with this, I'm ending my session today. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Yeah. Thanks for attending, and thanks for having your putting down your questions. And please do not forget to give the feedback